Hiya, folks. I thought I'd revisit a topic here that always gets a lot of love, which is the topic of drugs and meditation, and do they mix? They don't. Drugs are not part of the Buddhist path. Now, the reason I mention this is because I think a few months ago, I mean, I know I did this, but I can't remember when it was. I mentioned on this YouTube channel how a number of years ago I got a medical marijuana prescription, because you can do that in California. Well, now you don't even have to do that, but at the time you'd go to a doctor and get a prescription. And the reason was because I have chronic headaches, and I thought maybe this would help because nothing else helped. Well, smoking marijuana did not help my headaches at all. It just made me high with a headache. Although I got some CBD-based cream that really does a lot of good, so, good on you for that stuff. But what I found is that I sort of liked it, in small quantities. So I got into the habit of having it every once in a while, like once a week, twice a month, something like that. Not very often, but every once in a while. And when the pandemic hit, like a lot of people, there's not much to do. I had a little bit of that. And about 2 weeks ago, I decided to indulge in a little bit of it on a Saturday night. And what it did to me was send me into a tailspin of negativity and horror and awfulness that was really, really heavy. I haven't experienced something like that since my horrible LSD trip that I did when I was 19 years old. And you do the addition to figure out how many years ago that was. A lot of years ago is the answer. So I decided, after I kind of came off of it, that that's it. That's it for that. No more breaking that precept, because it doesn't help. It only made things worse. The other intoxicant that I gave up at around the same time, and I've mentioned this on this YouTube channel too, is the news. I deleted all the news apps from my phone and from my laptop and everything else, and I'm just hardcore. Even on YouTube, when they recommend videos for you, I always say, I don't like this video. You can kind of click on the video and go, I don't like this video, and then they stop recommending you those videos. So anytime a news-based video comes up, I dislike it, and I hope that doesn't hurt somebody's channel. I doubt it does, really, because these are mostly big channels that I'm doing this to anyway. But I'm just hardcore off of it. And so far, as I've said the last time, all the news is making it to me. All the news that's important is getting to me anyway, because other people I know watch it, and they'll tell me what's going on. And Mayor Garcetti sends little text messages every time he changes the rules, so I get those too. But just freeing myself of these intoxicants for, I haven't counted the days, but I think it's about 2 weeks, has improved my practice immensely. It's gotten it back to where it was 20 odd years ago when I was studying with Nishijima Roshi in Japan. It's really amazing. And it reminded me once again how important that precept is. The precept against taking intoxicants is just as important as the precept against not killing and not misusing sex and not stealing and not lying. I mean, it's up there in those top 10 for a reason. It's not there just because, we don't like stoners or something like that. And you really cannot understand the Buddhist path if you are doing these kind of drugs. And, every time I say this, I put something about this on Twitter the other day, and somebody's like, define drugs. You know what drugs I mean. You know exactly what drugs I mean. I'm not going to give you a list. But if you want to have a good Zen practice, you just have to give that stuff up. People who try to mix the two just end up confused. And there's a reason for that, and the reason is that sometimes the effects of these drugs can mimic what you might imagine a meditative insight would be like, and a lot of people will get sucked into that kind of thing. Particularly, Stephen Batchelor recently published a book in which he is totally getting sucked into that stuff after years of not doing it, and getting extraordinarily confused about what the purpose of meditation is and how the drugs can affect it, and thinking that he's somehow enhancing it with that. Sam Harris, another another person whose insights into Buddhism I have to completely throw out the window because he's doing the drugs. It's not possible. It just doesn't work. Uh, and that is the bottom line. And I know I'm going to get arguments in the comments section, but look, you're not going to change my mind, so you might as well not leave those comments. I'm not even sure if I'll respond to them this time. I usually do, but it's so ridiculous that there's very little point to having any sort of discussion about this. This is a path that requires you to be straight in body and mind, and that is the only way it's going to work. The only way. And you know, the people who want to try to have it a different way are deceiving you, and they're deceiving themselves. You know, and I know this because I was deceiving myself about my own marijuana use. So, you know, don't do that. And I'm putting this out publicly because I think it's important to remind myself to do this as much as it is to remind anybody else. So, you know, the minute you stop doing it, that is the minute you start to heal from it. And that is also very true. So, a little message of hope for you there, I hope. I don't know. That's all I got to say. It's Friday, and I don't want to belabor a point and make a huge video, but I just thought I'd put that out there. As always, I get my support from your Patreon and PayPal donations, and none of your donations will go to purchasing marijuana. So you can be sure of that. If you can't donate because all this stuff is going on, don't worry. Things have been, you know, mostly okay for me. But I do have to put it out there because that's how I make my living. So we will see you then, all you cool cats and kittens. So long, good night, have a nice day, have a fun time, have a good time all the time. That's what I was trying to think of. See you later, bye.